So yesterday, Packers reporter Rob Demovsky went on the Rich Eisen show and talked a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and what the holdup may be with this trade. And he basically ended up saying that the Packers feel like right now that the New York Jets are lowballing them for Aaron Rodgers.
From what I was told, the Packers think the Jets are kind of lowballing them a little bit. Now, what that means, I don't exactly know. But the Packers feel like they're in a position of leverage right now.
Over the last couple of weeks, it's kind of been an argument of which team has the leverage right now. Do the New York Jets have the most leverage, or do the Green Bay Packers have the most leverage? I think both teams, in some sense, do have leverage. I think the Packers hold the most leverage, at least up into this current draft, and that's what Rob Demovsky said as well, because as of right now, the Jets, really their only option is Aaron Rodgers. They've already met with him. They basically have been talking about wanting Aaron Rodgers in that building for months now. The Green Bay Packers let them meet with Aaron Rodgers, their brass, GM Joe Douglas, owner Woody Johnson, head coach Robert Saleh. Basically all their front office went and met with Aaron Rodgers. So there was also a question there. Don't you think there was a deal kind of already in place if you were going to let the front office go meet with Aaron Rodgers? But on the flip side, I see why the New York Jets would have some leverage, because it's not like the Green Bay Packers can keep Aaron Rodgers into next season. He's owed that $60 million. And at some point, they're going to have to write that check out to Aaron Rodgers. So right now, I think the Packers do have the leverage up until the draft. And I think that's when it goes away. If the Packers wait until after the draft, I think all the leverage goes onto the Jets side. And then at that point, Brian Gutekunst is just going to have to accept, what the Jets are offering at that point. And right now it is said that the New York Jets don't want to give up that first round draft pick, 13th overall. So then it kind of comes down to, okay, how can the Packers still get that value? Whether a player has a first round grade like Jermaine Johnson, a first round player the Jets drafted last year, who, the Packers have a need at edge as well, so he could maybe be included in the trade. Or if you load up other picks later in the draft, say a second, third, fourth, and whatever next year, to kind of equate a first round draft choice, if that was kind of what the Packers were looking for. On the show, they also made a really good point that after the draft, the Packers, they're going to lose any immediate help for Jordan Love, and this is going to be a very big, 2-year window where you get to evaluate what Jordan Love truly is. Sure, he's been in the building for 3 years. You've been seeing him in practices, OTAs, preseason games, and sometimes, late in games like Philadelphia last year, but you haven't seen him, truly lead a team and, play a full season yet. So if you're not going to get draft capital for this year, you're kind of shortening that span of surrounding Jordan Love with the best team possible to really get a good evaluation of him. And that could hurt, the valuation of Jordan Love and what the future could be for Jordan Love on the Green Bay Packers. So I think it is imperative for the Green Bay Packers to get draft capital this year, and the draft just over a month away. So there's still a decent bit of time, and I don't think the Packers are in any rush per se. They want to get as much value as possible for Aaron Rodgers, and they know the Jets eventually will have to kind of, meet in the middle there for Aaron Rodgers, whether that's with, like I said, a player worth a first-round draft choice or just giving up the first-round draft choice. But it's seeming more and more likely that that 13th overall pick likely will not be included in this trade. It's also mentioned that the Packers have most of the leverage because the Jets' only ticket to relevancy is by trading for Aaron Rodgers. And they're not going to go into next season with Zach Wilson as much as the Packers aren't going to go into next season with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Neither is going to work for either team. The Packers are moving on to Jordan Love. That much is 100% true. And there's been so much talk about Zach Wilson, how he's not their guy, and it was a bad draft pick. Even players coming out pretty much saying that, and all these players tweeting about, I want to have Aaron Rodgers here. So it's like you kind of already, that ship has sailed. Zach Wilson will likely still be on the roster as a backup quarterback, but I don't think he'll ever start for the New York Jets again. So really right now it's Aaron Rodgers or nothing. So that's why I think the Packers do have more of the leverage. And like I said, I'm not saying the Jets don't have any, because the longer this takes, the more the leverage starts to shift into the Jets' favor, because like I said earlier, the Packers aren't going to have Aaron Rodgers as a backup quarterback paying him $60 million in new cash. It's just simply not going to happen. They're going to Jordan Love, and they'll likely have a rookie or another veteran quarterback as a backup. So it's very interesting right now to hear that the Packers feel they're being lowballed. So like I said, they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to come and meet in the middle. I don't think it's going to be a huge trade package like multiple first-round picks and a couple players like the Packers may want, but I don't think it's going to be, a low ball offer of a 4th round and maybe a next year conditional like the Jets want. And as far as we're concerned, there could be an agreement on draft capital and player trade packages, but they're just trying to figure out the financial side of it, because it's not as simple as, okay, we're going to get this pick this year, this pick next year, and a player, okay, it's done, right? Because the Jets are also going to try to have the Packers pay as much as possible for Aaron Rodgers, so the Jets don't have to pay that much in future years. Aaron Rodgers on their team this year, a cap hit of just under $16 million is very good, and that's very manageable. But where it gets hard is the future years, and that's if Aaron Rodgers even ends up playing. But even if he doesn't, you're still going to owe him some of that money. So the Green Bay Packers, if they trade him pre-June 1st, which is what it's going to have to be if the Packers want draft capital this year, which is 100% what they should do, the Packers are already going to have a dead cap of $40 million, $9 million more than that $31 million cap hit he would have being on the roster. The Jets might say, we want you to pay even more. We want you to pay more of his future contract, and the Packers would have to just take that on this year. But they do have some cap room to do so. I've always said it's a good idea in my eyes that they take on the cap hit right now, right? They just take the L, hold all $40 million dead cap hit this year, because then what that does is it frees up that contract for the future. You're not paying money into next year. Whereas if it was like a post June 1st designation, they'd pay $16 million this year and $24 million next year. I know a lot of people see the beginning of that report and say, oh, it would only be $16 million if you did a post June 1st. But regardless, you are paying that $40 million. It's just a matter of splitting it up or paying it all now. And I think paying it all now is the route to go to free up the most money next year and future years to build around Jordan Love. And I'm not going to lie, I honestly thought an announcement of a trade would have happened by now. I kind of thought last Friday on the 17th was the day we'd hear about it. But now that we're getting more and more reports out, it seems like they're still, conversing on what that value is going to be and what players and draft capital. But like I said, they have a little bit over a month. I don't think it'll take up to draft night. I think it will be done in the next couple of weeks, maybe. And like I said, it's going to be a middle ground point that the Jets and the Packers find. I think this trade is 100% going to happen. It's just a matter of how it happens and when. But that about does it for this video. I appreciate everyone watching. All your Aaron Rodgers and Packers updates will be here right on this channel. So if you are a new viewer, go down, click the subscribe button, and also leave a like on the video. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.